Hey guys, it is Dr. Julie Toomoon. I am the creator of the program From Surviving to Thriving, and I'm here today to talk to you about why so many people have thyroid problems, why they're not getting the results they want. There's three main reasons there, and then the three things that you can do to change that. Look, my mission in life, honestly, is to get people out of an exhausted, worn down, overwhelmed, frustrated state and get their hormones balanced and get their metabolism balanced and get their energy back so that they can return to lives of vitality. So if that sounds like you, you're going to want to pay attention. So thyroid problems are a big issue. Almost everybody who's ever walked into my office, has at some point uttered the words, "I wonder if I have a thyroid problem." And there's a lot of nuance to it, and a lot of nuance that isn't actually addressed by most health professionals. And this includes doctors, and it definitely includes health coaches and people who we might turn to for some advice, nutritionists, even a lot of chiropractors, don't know how to delve into this issue in its totality. And as a result, we kind of end up not getting the results we're looking for. So there are three main things that really affect and determine why we have such a thyroid problem in the world today. So number one is that we pretty much exist on will, obligation, and worry. Our lives have become, by and large, pretty much a walkthrough of things I must do, things I'm willing myself to do even though I don't really want to do them, and then things I'm worried about. And these emotions have a big impact on the body. So you have to understand the thyroid, of course, is a glandular structure, and it does produce hormone, but that hormone has big impact all over the body. There's not really one cell type that isn't subject to the effects of thyroid hormone. And as a result, the effects of thyroid hormone are really strongly influenced by emotions, as is the entire body. Emotions like worry, emotions like will, which is kind of regret, sometimes anger, sometimes frustration. Those emotions do a lot to shut down reception at the cells. If you think about it, when you feel fearful or worried, when you feel over-obligated, when you feel kind of pushed through your day, what does your body language do? So a lot of us, our body language kind of crumples, like we kind of close down. That's not just a body language thing. Your physiology literally does the same thing. So over time, if this is the place that we're living in over and over and over again, we're actually making a big impact on our physiology and what happens at a cellular level, and even at the cell membranes. So over time, we become a lot less responsive to thyroid hormone in general. So when the thyroid produces hormone, if it's doing that correctly, which in a lot of cases, the thyroid is actually making hormone, but the problem is at the cells. So the hormone arrives at the tissues, it can't get converted because the resources aren't there. It doesn't attach, and the whole kind of body makeup is in this real shut down place. This is where a lot of us are living, and as a result, like even if we're making hormone, we're not getting to live the effects of it. And so we present with all the thyroid symptoms, so fatigue and skin changes and hair changes and low libido and changes to our cycle and constipation and joint aches and pains and muscle aches and pains and chronic tightness in our muscles and an inability to really handle stress. And this happens, and it keeps happening, and that's a great indication that that tissue response is really out of whack. That has a lot to do with, we have to change some lifestyle factors, and then we also have to change the mindset. Now, there's a lot of people who are on thyroid hormone, but they're not getting anywhere. And I see this all the time. Over the last 15 years that I've been in practice, I bet 60% of the people that have walked into my office have at some point been on thyroid hormone. A lot of them say, well, it made a difference at first and then it seemed to stop working, or I took it and I got no effect. Now, there is a difference if you're taking Synthroid, which is the synthetic form of thyroid hormone, and it is just T4, the inactive form of the hormone, or if you're taking a natural thyroid, which are made from whole, usually pork thyroid. Those are not so standardized, but they do contain both T4 and T3, and there is a difference between those two. But I will say this, Anytime we have to replace hormones in the body, we have not stimulated the body's own responses. We've just kind of compensated, and compensation can have a purpose, but over the long term, compensation does not get you healed. It gets you managed. And if your goal is to actually have healing and the totality that comes with that, because see, management is sort of like, I think of management akin to halting a process. So when we halt a process, we do prevent maybe further damage, but we don't move ourselves forward. Healing is a process of putting us in alignment so we can move forward and actually have growth and change and expansiveness, and that it would encompass more than just our physical self, but also our mind, our body, our emotions, and our spirit. So it would be the totality of all of it. And hormone replacement, I find, does not do that. In fact, I also worry because I've seen so many people who are on hormone replacement for thyroid or other things. And when I do a Chinese medicine evaluation on them, so I'm checking their pulses and looking at their tongue, I find that they're not healthier. They just get the appearance of balance. And I don't know about you, but in life, I want some certainty that I'm balanced and not just the appearance of balance. The appearance of balance is a lot like putting a Band-Aid over a cut. I no longer see the cut, but it's still there underneath. And as we age, certainty and being sure that things have changed is a bigger and bigger deal. It doesn't seem so big when you're in your 20s. When you go past 40 and into 50 and 60 and 70, it makes a big deal. So I'm a big fan of certainty and not just giving people the appearance of things having changed. Now, the third factor is that the sequence for the thyroid or any hormonal system going out of whack is almost always the same, just the impact is different. So stress depletes our resources. There's a whole cascade of things that happens in your body when you are stressed. Now, again, and I've said this before, but I'm going to say it a million times till the world actually gets it. Stress is not just what you perceive to be stress. So I know that all of us have gone through stressful periods in our life, and that is one factor. But stress happens in a number of ways. When we eat the wrong foods, it's stressful to our body. When we don't sleep enough, maybe when we are partaking in too much alcohol, we drink too much caffeine, we don't get enough time outside, we sit too much, we had a fight with our spouse, we aren't managing our work-life balance, we're taking on too many things, we're running too many errands. I mean, the list could go on forever. The thing is that we adapt to stress, and so after a while, we don't perceive it anymore. So what's just quote-unquote normal for us is often very stressful, and yet we become so accustomed to it. If someone asks you, or like, are you stressed? A lot of people say, well, no, today's a good day, because they don't have something extreme going on, but it doesn't mean they're not stressed. So stress leads to depletion of vital nutrients because our body has to respond. So your nervous system has to respond even if your mind has convinced you that it's all okay. And so that's happening in the background. You're depleting the nutrients, and then that is leading to a breakdown, and that breakdown leads to inflammation, and that inflammation then severely hinders both the glandular function directly and then the tissue responses that are downstream, which means that if you want to repair the process, you have to be able to go in and target every little piece of that as it has occurred for you. And that is really one of the big keys, is that we have so many problems because we often take a one-size-fits-all approach to healing. So when we start talking about the 3 things that we can do about this problem, so number 1 is to be able to identify what the pattern is for us. And this is a big deal. So here's what's happening in the world of healing now. We have this one-size-fits-all approach going on. I hear it all the time. Someone tells me like, oh, my friend knows about supplements and they told me I should take this. I consulted this health coach. All she does is thyroid, and she put me on her thyroid-specific diet. My naturopath, my chiropractor, the lady at the health food store, they said that they do this for everyone. Or I read a blog post, or Dave Asprey says. So here's the deal. You are existing in an absolute divine miracle. So let me ask you, do you think that divine miracle has only one template for everyone? I mean, we all look different, right? We all sound different. We have different interests, different passions. We choose different relationships, different paths in life. So why would a one-size model fits all for healing ever be appropriate? This is one of the things that gets me riled up more than anything else, is when people have just one approach for a problem. Your body is so dynamic that a one approach model is not going to work. It can't work because let me tell you, if I put 10 people in a room and on paper they all have the same condition, I can guarantee you that if we apply principles of pattern differentiation, which, you know, for me has been a foundation because I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner. And Chinese medicine is all about the pattern differentiation. We know that those 10 people are not going to have the same reasons why they have that particular diagnosis. And we also know that if you don't know the pattern and you just apply treatment based off of what you think is correct, or someone told you like, hey, the way you solve that problem is to always do this, you're going to get results 30% of the time. And the reason is that the other 60% or 70% of the time, you're going to miss the mark because that person didn't have the problem that way. And this is so important because we have really begun to dumb down healing. I hate to say this because I'm a big fan of people, you know, having access to heal ourselves, but I hear it all the time. I walk through health food stores. I hear the people telling someone like, oh, you have this problem. You just need to do this. You just need to do that. They know nothing about the person other than, hey, my joints hurt. Hey, I'm tired. Hey, my hair's been thinning. This model is going to waste our valuable time. So if you really want to solve a thyroid problem, you need to understand what the pattern is for you. And that pattern is so specific. And with that specific identification, then you can do specific nutrients that are just for the pattern the way you present. You can do a specific use of food that are just for the pattern the way you present. And in doing so, not only are you going to move forward like 1,000 times faster, but you're going to get such targeted results, and you're finally going to start to have a communication and connection with your body that I guarantee you haven't had, at least not in a long time. And as a result, we're going to do that repair at the level of the cells and the cell membranes and the tissues, not just shoving in some hormone and hoping your body works the rest of it out. The other thing is that when you're targeted, you get a totality of healing. Remember when I said like real healing is body, mind, emotion, and spirit? It's never exclusive to just one of those. And that's because these are all interconnecting aspects of yourself. And when we address something from the specific pattern for that person, then we can make this big effect. Like it's this big wave that can't help but encompass all those pieces because it's so big and so awesome and so on point. Now, the last part, the third part, is that we have to help support the elimination of waste in the system. This is really key. See, a lot of times we put nutrients in, but then we don't support what needs to come out, and these are obstacles. Now, I am not an advocate of cleanses, so I'll just say that up front. I don't believe that most people have the strength to adequately cleanse, and as a result, they end up wasting a lot of resources, like body resources and energy, thinking that they're removing waste when all they're doing is stirring it up. I'm not talking about cleansing. I'm actually talking about systematically supporting and opening the pathways of elimination through maybe particular sort of detox support activities, through more rest, through simple supportive baths, through massage, through good chiropractic adjustments, through acupuncture. I mean, there's a number of ways we can do this, right? But the point is to be on target and gentle. And the goal is to open up the liver, because the liver is your detox pathway for so much of your waste, including spent hormones. And we miss that a lot of times. We think like we're just going to detox, oh, heavy metals or pesticides or other compounds, but really a lot of times we're also having to detox all the hormones our body has been wasting. And one of the side effects too of having a lingering thyroid problem is that I see a lot of people become very hyperestrogen. So then they have a system that's built up all this estrogen toxicity, and as your body heals, it's going to start to move that, but it's got to dump all of that through the liver. And if your liver is congested because your bile isn't moving, or because your detoxification pathways are hindered because they don't have the resources either, and your whole body's been fatigued, and your diet doesn't support it, and the nutrients you're taking are actually clogging it, because that can happen. See, if we don't take targeted nutrients, we actually clog the liver. We make it harder for our liver to detoxify. We waste valuable sexual energy doing so. So this is all key, but you want to support those things. So skin brushing can be a great activity. Sometimes castor oil packs can be a great activity. It just depends on the person. Not all of those are always perfect for everyone, but they can be good starts. You don't want to exercise too much. You want to rest more. You want to laugh. You want to meditate. I mean, you want to really take care of those lifestyle factors, because if you stay in that, remember I said that will, obligation, and worry place are where a lot of these problems originate. So in removing the obstacles, we also want to change those patterns so we can free up that energy in the body so we can transform. We're looking to transform. We're not just looking to manage, we're looking to transform. So that's the gist. You really have to understand why the problems originate, and then you have to get on point and targeted with why it's originated for you, because that matters so significantly. I don't want anyone to waste effort. Do you know how many times in my career I've had someone walk into my office with literally a brown grocery bag full of supplements, because every time someone told them to take something, they went and bought it. That kind of like, oh, this works for everyone model, it wastes our time, it wastes our energy, and honestly, it can lead to more problems, because if we start pouring in a bunch of useless nutrients into our body, you could further hinder that cell response to thyroid, and then you can actually add more problems. You can slow it down even more, and this is what a lot of people miss, because there's so much hype right now in the world of healing that like this one size model is going to work. And I don't know about you, but especially when I went past 40, it was a big deal. I started to really realize, like, what do I want 50 to look like? Do I really want to languish in this place anymore and waste any more time, you know, trying out the next best thing? So we have thyroid problems because we need to solve that problem. I hope that you all have gotten something valuable out of this. I believe in your healing. If you want help solving this problem, reach out. I put the link in the description above the video or next to the video. But you're capable of living your best life ever, and maybe, just maybe, this is the year that you get the strength to overcome that fear and commit to doing it all the way, because I can tell you that you can feel fantastic into your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80. You can be one of those 80-year-olds that's hiking the world. So I believe in you. Many blessings. My name is Dr. Julie.